Live.
All right,
Let's
nice.
do 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Comrade. You're listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. This is Good Morning Comrade. GoodMorningComrade.com. This is WHIVLP New Orleans. As I said earlier, this is your number one socialist radio program in the New Orleans area. Good Morning Comrade. Jeff and Robert here. Man, there's a lot happening lately, isn't there, bro?
Is there? I don't know.
hard to
It's been
keep up.
kind of a slow news year, right?
Oh, well, it was like one of those sort of situations where we were like, you and I were just like, man, this is going to be like the lamest, like weakest, like run up to any election ever, the least important election in our lifetime or whatever. And
Absolutely.
then you have all kinds of crazy, like the writers of America just got real stupid with it. You know what I mean? Like they decided to do
we jumped the shark, we jumped the dolphin, we jumped the whole aquarium.
Yeah, we're basically jumped the entire bay here. Wait, have we even done an episode since Biden
Nope.
didn't?
No, because we were gonna do last week, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch some of the. What was I gonna watch? I couldn't remember. Oh, I was watching Biden's press conference where.
The press conference last week. So just to kind of catch everybody up. I mean, everybody probably already knows by now if you're listening, but Joe Biden completely fell on his face in the last debate. People have been freaking out about this old man's got to drop out. Why is he running for president? His brain doesn't work. It's mush, and he's only gone to underscore that several times, just drawing a couple of lines in it, underline it, circling it, everything to make it so that everybody can tell this dude is not going to be he's not going to be able to perform anything. And there's been a conspiracy of Democrats to try and replace him. Adam, like Nancy Pelosi behind the scenes, pulling all the strings, she's Littlefinger, trying to make sure that he gets out of there, because I mean, obviously, Nancy Pelosi and I don't have a lot in common when it comes to actual things that we believe in or care about, but we would like to see the open fascists not get put in.
That'd be great.
That become in charge of everything in the world right now. That would be bad. So then, as of last week, this was last week. So there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. I want to talk about the assassination attempt.
Let's do that. Let's talk about that. But first, before we move on, I just want to say, Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama, doing stupid op-eds or getting people to write op-eds. Isn't that the most Democratic Party?
That is the most Democrat thing.
Because never deal with a problem directly when you can nibble around the edges and nothing good happens.
Well, it's the thing that makes you think that they're taking it serious, because they know that their audience is also Democrats, if you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely.
They're definitely hey, Democrats, we're serious about this because we're leaking to the Washington Post. You know what I mean?
When the money aligns against you, the actual kingmakers in this country, forget the voters. It's over. And for Joe Biden to be I don't care what the elites say. You mean Joe Biden, the proletariat's choice here is doing.
Yes, Bernie Sanders.
yeah, he's doing populism now. I'm get out of here, man. Yeah. I was them people put you there. Then people told you it's time to. They put you in the party, and now they're not the party the Democratic Party, but I mean metaphorically, they gave you an invite, and now they're telling you the bar's closed. You don't get to say no, bro. Nobody wanted you here. Nobody wanted you in this position. And just I want to rant real quick, and then we'll talk about the assassination attempt. And I'm just I was just ranting at my wife not 5 minutes ago. It's just this guy who has never done anything good as a senator in his whole life, just done nothing but spread misery. And I know you're going to be like, well, labor. And I'm like, it's the Kid Rock bit. It's the kid like, well, he went to a picket line and he got out of the way of some labor regulations that were really good. But I'm like, as a baseline Democrat, like that's what you're supposed to do. It's the Kid Rock bit of
that's the minimum.
Somebody says, I take care of my kids. It's like, do you want a cookie? Like, that's what you're supposed to do. And this guy who's never done, like I said, he's done nothing but hurt the working class. And then he, with the getting rid of, so poor people can't do, I'm so hyped up on pre-workout. I just got back from the gym. But, poor people can't do bankruptcy. But corporations sure do have no problem with that. They called it bankruptcy reform when we were kids. And it's just like this guy who has sucked up to finance, his actual bosses, his actual masters, got him finally in the position where he wanted to be. And now he won't take the same hint from his actual real bosses. And this guy's such an idiot. I hate Joe Biden so much. I've always hated him. And he's such an idiot that, again, smarter people than us have said this. This guy is sucked up to finance so much. And he's also been, noted as like the poorest senator, in modern times because he doesn't take a bunch of campaign contributions and kickbacks.
He truly believes in the like neoliberal outlook.
Yeah.
He's not even benefiting from himself.
He
doesn't have the decency to like get himself rich off of it.
Yeah, he's just selling out, the working class for the love of the game. And he wants to be, with the little bit of like vitality and life he has left, he wants to dig his heels in. He wants to die in the office, I guess. He wants to be God King. But even then, neoliberals and Democrats won't even do the things. They always want to nibble around the edges.
They don't even know you, little bro. They don't even know you, little bro.
If I was Joe Biden, and finance and Obama and Pelosi and the whole Democratic Party wanted me out and I refused to get out for the good of the country, I would waddle on down to the Rose Garden, do a impromptu presser and say, hey, executive orders. We're not funding Israel anymore. We're doing education. We're doing healthcare. Now push me out. Now push me out. Now see, after that, get people to not vote for me and vote against me if you really want to have some kind of populist uprising. But this guy, even with his brain being mush, he wouldn't do that in his prime. Like you said, he's a true believer. He's a true idiot. And I have nothing but venom and vitriol for that man, way more than I do for Donald Trump. Because if you're telling me the bad stuff that Donald Trump has said or done, or there's like legitimate Nazis in the Republican Party, which is all true, you also just told me the sun shone today. You're not telling me anything I don't know.
Yeah, the bad guys are bad.
Yeah, I know they're in front trying to shiv me. I'm worried about the knives coming from my back from guys like Biden and Obama and the rest of the corporate Democrat class. Mm-hmm. That's my rant. Go. Let's talk about something that's more uplifting, like really? A attempted presidential assassination.
Well, we can, and then we can get further into some of the stuff, but it is really kind of crazy, like the fact that it is funny seeing like Nancy Pelosi, who was supposed to have stepped down as like the speaker of the Democrats and like been replaced by Hakeem Jeffries, the fakest speaker of all time, because like she's literally like, oh, I actually do still call the shots here. That guy's just like holding my chair. Like I'm just still the one in charge. Don't worry, everybody. And then like Joe Biden could be like I didn't believe in magic until I saw all my dogs turn into snakes, just seeing like all of these like sharks and piranhas like picking away at him. And like the only people other than like Bill and Hillary Clinton or like Joe Biden's like closest personal friends are like the only people that are like, we still want to stick with Joe Biden is like the squad. Like, what's going on there? Like,
we talked about that. We talked about that 2 weeks ago, and that does make sense to me. And
it doesn't matter what they do, I guess.
I understand, but they didn't have to. You said it perfect. They didn't have to come out and be like, Joe Biden's the guy. Just be like, we'll support the nominee. That's all they had to do, because they're not in a position to, one, change anything. Two, it's a bet. You're hedging your bets on whatever happens. Like if Joe Biden somehow wins, you want to be in his good graces. If he gets pushed out, well, it's you don't want to back that guy to the hilt. That's the only thing. By Bernie writing multiple op-eds and stuff like that, like backing him, there's no reason to do that. His time. But Bernie's another liberal too, though. Bernie's another liberal. Love him to death, but he ain't even Jeremy Corbyn, and Jeremy Corbyn's a liberal, you know. So it's like
Corbyn's
Joe.
a pretty real one compared.
Yeah, he is a real one. He is a real one. But I was just trying to do like because people call Corbyn like the Bernie Sanders of the UK,
He's
and
better.
I'm like, no, he's way.
He was
better.
actually in a position where he could actually almost win until he got completely and utterly shivved. Like his dogs are really turned into snakes, and they like tarred and feathered him with like these anti-Semitic charges, which is hilarious because like he's, I don't know, it's just like one of these kind of crazy deals.
Joe Biden is like in a mob movie. He would be the guy. He's the guy that like the mob boss puts in front. He puts in charge of the front. You know, the dry cleaning business or whatever. But then he actually like buys his own cover and really thinks he owns the business, and ends up getting like offed by the.
He goes and he's Tessio. He thinks he's going into business for himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into business for himself. That's yes. That's absolutely what's happening here. And it's hilarious. It's like Lord of the Rings, you know, with like Gimli and Legolas. It's like I never thought I'd be standing toe to toe with Nancy Pelosi as my savior to give me enough time to leave the country. Hopefully a Kamala Harris win. Hopefully. Yeah. Instead of buying me, a 1 year to leave, maybe you can buy me 3. That'd be great. We were talking off air, and it's like, yeah, you liberals finally broke me. I finally believe in harm reduction voting, but it's harm reduction for a party of 1.
Yeah. You just like making sure that your own butt is covered, and,
like, great.
And you can like dip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal, man. And like watching as this whole thing like takes place, and watching as like the Democrats just like literally slow rolling this thing, like do it in the most Democrat like way possible, where they constantly like publicly will come out and say, we're asking, it's the president's decision to do this, but we're asking him real nicely to think about the things. And then you see a op-ed that comes out, like literally it's like it's definitely a machine. Adam Schiff on the record, Joe Biden drop out. Chuck Schumer on the record, Joe Biden drop out. Or no, I'm sorry, Schumer was off the record. But then you have like leaked like conversations with like Nancy Pelosi and with Obama, like saying that they're having like frank conversation with Joe Biden about how he should have, like, that doesn't get leaked unless it's on purpose.
I was driving home from the gym and I heard, an interview with Chuck Todd at the RNC Chuck Todd's talking about the only people who still want Joe Biden in the race are, all their last names are Biden. And the first thing I thought of, I didn't think it. I actually screamed it in my car. I said, what a cool democracy we have.
Yeah.
Where, a 9 million year old strongman can just be like, no, I won't be moved. Like, only I can do it. And I'm going to die here in the Oval Office. What a cool democracy. And the only reason you even got in that position is because the same people showing you the door now got everybody to drop out so they could steal from Bernie. Come on, bro. Like, I understand. I don't need this again. Like, I just talked about Trump. Like, I don't like Trump. Obviously, I hate Trump. Obviously, I hate the GOP. But when they say stuff like democracy doesn't work, when I'm listening like legitimate like Nazis and fascists, and they're like, oh yeah, democracy doesn't work, we should just go have a God king or whatever. I'm like, no, but I understand why you're saying that. Because this system is not doing anything material for you.
Well, it doesn't work because they're making it not work. I mean, if you remember, you're listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3 is Comrade. Comrade. If you remember, like the whole thing when Biden was supposed to be coming on as president, right? He was supposed to be, I'm a transitional president, Jack. I'm one term. It's this is whatever, and then we can figure it out after that. And like this is something that's I think worth reflecting on now. Because afterwards, when it's all like, we won Kamala Harris, if that does happen, like, people are going to be like, well, I don't want to talk about that. We just, whatever. Let's not revisit it. Let's not drag up old whatever.
Absolutely.
But like the thing is, he was supposed to be a transitional president. He was already 76 years old or whatever. He was old as hell. And it was supposed to be, it was supposed to be Harris, but like they would have potentially had like a real primary. About a year ago, Biden's like, guess what, Jack? I'm running again. I lied. And so they didn't even have like a real primary. The only people that ran against Joe Biden were like Cenk Uygur, Dean Phillips, and Marianne Williamson, a bunch of like, you know, like they're not like heavy hitters with the Democratic Party. They're a bunch of outsiders, right?
Yeah.
And so like they didn't have a real primary. They didn't have a single debate. None of these discussions. They had like they were technically, I guess, had a primary, and they'll keep saying that like Joe Biden won all these primaries or whatever. But like they didn't have it. They didn't have a primary. It wasn't a real primary. Come on, man. Let's not like, kid ourselves. And
Well,
then
it's funny that you say that because just to your thunder, going back to what I said about Bernie, it's like, you know, we're like, don't relitigate old things. No, let's relitigate it because that's the only way we're going to learn from history.
Let's pull out all the skeletons.
This idea of Joe Biden is, you know, we can't do anything about him now because he's the presumptive nominee. That surely wasn't the Democratic Party's position when Bernie was the presumptive nominee. It was level red. Do everything we can.
Get everybody out of there. Pete, you get out. Everybody get out except for Elizabeth Warren.
So I don't want to hear that.
But again, so I mean, again, to your point, when all of the worst people in the world are like, don't democracy doesn't work or whatever. It's like, yeah, because these MFers don't believe in it either. You know what I mean? Right. They're actually actively undermining it as best that they can and try and get anything that like the popular will completely and utterly marginalized, and that's the point. But so I did want to like get to that, and again, we didn't have that primary, and now we're going to be having this sort of situation where the Democrats are like, oh, we need to anoint Kamala Harris because it's an emergency. You don't even get to have that primary now. It's going to be like an open convention, or it's just going to be Kamala, which, like, look, I don't care which of them it is. At least it's not Joe Biden at this point.
That's what I'm saying. Personally, like, the party has broken me, dude. I do not care.
Well, but like, my point is that, like, again, they squash democracy every single step of the way, and that's what got us here.
Absolutely.
Is my point. And so, like, it's not like that. It hasn't shaken my belief in democracy or anything like that. It just it actually affirms my pre-existing belief that these MFers don't care about democracy, and they never did, and they'll do everything they can to prevent it. You know, right now we're smashing the glass and we're pulling out the fire hydrants, and we're doing what Jamal Bowman did. It's like pulling the fire alarm to make sure that like the bad thing doesn't happen. But like, you know, right now, I mean, it's just it's all hands on deck, I guess. Until you can get on the lifeboat.
I mean, to paraphrase something that Trump said, you know, when he'd always rant about, oh, you're going to be winning so much, you're going to be tired of winning, and it's just like, we have been right so much. I'm literally tired of being right.
That's what being a leftist is, though, right?
I'm so sick of it, dude.
Being a leftist is being right all the time and being told you're wrong all the time. Like, that's what it is.
Yep. Totally, like, you don't know what you're talking. The amount of people online that have called me a kid who doesn't know what I'm talking. I'm like, dude, I have a head full of gray hair. I've started to get stuff from the AARP. What are you talking about? I'm like, I've run in and won an election. Like, what are you talking about? I was an elected official for the Democratic Party. Get out of here, brother. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's like, and I can't wait. Like, that's the thing, because it will happen. It will happen if Kamala Harris doesn't win for whatever reason. We, the left, will be blamed for this somehow.
Always.
You will be blamed.
What it is. You didn't vote for Hillary Clinton in 2000 even. Go all the way back. It's because of Ralph Nader. That's the reason that Al Gore didn't win, right? 2004, Kerry. 2016, Hillary Clinton, one of the worst candidates ever, who had one of the highest Sanders to Clinton.
We said she had no chance.
Yeah.
No chance to win against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Scream that to the high heavens.
Yeah. And then 2020, 2020, obviously Biden wins, and the craziest, like, you know, COVID election of all time. But still, and like, again, even with them closing ranks and like screwing over Bernie Sanders, he still ends up getting like lucky and wins because like people actually remembered how bad Trump was because they were dealing with it in that very moment. Now 4 years have passed, things have not gotten better, and you're like, you know, let's just go with the guy before, like, whatever, man. And then all of a sudden on Saturday, okay. First off, one, I want to set some parameters here. We're not going to break FCC rules. I don't want to get a phone call from the FBI or any of these 3-letter services. So let's just keep that in mind as we do it. But like,
about what? Indifference? Like,
here's the question that I have. No, here's the genuine little
okay.
I see. Like I have. Okay, how on earth, when you have this big like chonky MFer up on the stage, how do you hit his ear and nothing else?
Well, so what I've been reading is that he had him in his sights. That's what I read today. And that it was just his last minute little turn that threw it off. Like he had him dead to rights. And the idea that that the city cop, the municipal cop, climbed up on that roof, saw him, and then got, his
back down or something.
Back down, bought Trump a couple more seconds because now he has to get off rush shots. So that saved his life too. And like, yeah, and I say saved his life as like I as a leftist, as a good thing. I'm so glad that Donald Trump did not get murdered, because as any good leftist knows,
that would have been a big bloody shirt being waved.
That is not making people a martyr. Is no bueno. Like that does not get your political agenda across at all. I mean, the real thing,
well, again, this guy was not a leftist. That's one.
No, not at all. That's the thing that people are like, oh, this is some kind of leftist.
They're saying, oh, the radical left trying to kill me. They're on RNC this week. They've been saying that like Joe Biden tried to kill him. Like the immediate like things that some of the freakish people, like freakish Congress people, were saying was that like Joe Biden made the order for him to take the shot. It's like, are you crazy,
That's
bro?
So crazy. But like, to my theory of, one, ain't no leftist that ignorant of history to understand that like killing Franz Ferdinand was not the move. That would be like a good idea. Jack. Yeah, that's not the move. And then no liberal, and I hate to say this is like bravery or anything, but ain't no liberal got the stones for that.
No,
ain't no liberal trying to liberals want to keep by their very nature want to keep their position.
They don't believe in it.
They don't want that, and it's just like I equate, when I say liberals, I'm talking about the same type of people on January 6th that stormed the Capitol that were like, yeah, there were some true believers there, but most of these people were like petite bourgeoisie and they wanted to go back to their jobs on Monday, running the John Deere dealership or whatever.
I'm not trying to get in trouble. Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly. But the lesson that won't be learned, it won't be learned at all, is that, so you're telling me you've got city, county, the state. FBI on scene, state, city, county, state, the FBI on scene,
National Guard,
and a group of people whose only job in life is to protect one man and take and give their life for him if it came down to that, could not protect that man. Maybe more police aren't the answer.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I shouldn't be able to, or, and I like guns. Guns are cool. Guns are fun. Own guns. But maybe even me, responsible gun owner, Marine Corps veteran, a law enforcement veteran, shouldn't be able to just willy-nilly order a lower receiver and then go pick it up at Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop in 2 days.
Or Walmart even. Walmart
doesn't buy guns at Walmart anymore.
Oh, you can't? I thought
they can't.
To.
No, they have like airsoft. You
Bass
can't
Pro
buy I think you can still buy ammo at Walmart, but you can't buy a gun. I haven't bought ammo at Walmart in a long time. But yeah, so it's like, maybe it's the guns. Maybe more police aren't the answer, because if they couldn't protect that guy, the police aren't going to protect you. But we won't take that lesson. We won't learn that lesson. And we'll just be like, more guns, and even like there's a right-wing guy at my work who we were talking about that. He's like, no. And I'm like, oh, you're going to watch the RNC tonight? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. How many guns do you think, how many people
are open, in the building?
Open carrying? He's like, yeah, I guess you're right. And I'm like, yeah, dog, because they know that rhetoric of just like, good guy with a gun and we need more guns if everybody was armed and blah, blah, blah. And like, no, they know that's not true. They know they're selling you, they're selling you a crock of BS, because if that were true, then they would be like, yeah, they would issue you a gun when you walk in the building. If that was the case. But they're not doing that, are they? If it made you more safe.
I also remember, like, because I was watching some of the like responses that some of these hogs were given to the news, like right after the thing. Most of it was like, "Wow, this was crazy" or whatever. But like some of them were also like, "Yeah, you know what? Why didn't we have more cops here to make sure that we covered every single roof in the entire like city to make sure that nobody could ever in a million years do it?" And
that is pretty funny though. That's like the most obvious place, the most like, if I was gonna do something, that's where I would do it.
There.
It's like what? Like that's, but how incompetent they are, and it's just like, yeah, it's.
Oh, so you're saying they need training?
No, I'm saying you need less guns, and then less guns, and not more police. And that's another thing why I know turn this into like the firearms episode, but it also my theory of everybody's like, oh, I understand having a gun inside your home. I get that, because now like something's going down. I'm in my own home. I have nowhere to retreat to. So it's like here, it's like do or die in that scenario, right? But people are like, oh, I got to have a concealed carry because I got to be able to protect myself. I'm like, bro, if you got a concealed carry and I want to do you harm, right? You're not going to see me coming to do you harm. So what you're saying is the only way that that theory that you have of self-defense out in the street works is if you look at every human being that you see walking around the street as a potential threat. And I'm like, so you're just going to clear leather every time somebody passes you on the street? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
How does that work?
Yeah. So it's like, if people want to do crime, bro, they're going to do it. Like, it's just like, are they going to have a gun while they're doing it? Or like in the UK, you're going to have a stabbing attack. And then even then I can say, well, and now the retort to that would be, well, what are you saying? Should ban all knives in because they're going to use a knife to kill people, a bat to kill people? Yeah, but a knife can cut my steak. A gun has no other purpose.
Well, and you're not gonna kill 15, 20, 25 people with a knife the way you're gonna kill them with an AR-15. It's just not how it works. You can't. I mean, but maybe you could. It's a lot harder.
You're right. But my defense of the knife is the knife
has utility.
Murdering of a human being is not the one sole purpose of a knife. It is the one sole purpose of a gun. It just is. Let's just face facts of what it is. Yeah, you like to sport shoot. Yeah, you like to go to the range. I do too. It's fun times. But at the end of the day, that gun is meant to do one thing. And if you're telling me that you need an AR-15, you need a Armalite rifle platform to protect your home, and you live in the city. Now, I understand if you're out there in RFD, whatever, and you got, like in Texas a couple years ago with the wild boars were coming on people's they were like ganging up and doing all. I'm like, and people were like, oh my God, now the gun nuts are like, oh, we got to shoot the boars. I'm like, no, that's serious. I'm like, yeah, you actually do need that. So if you're out there in RFD land and you're like, yeah, I own this many acres and I need an AR platform that I can hit something center mass from 5 football fields away. I get you. We'll get you a permit for that. But you're sitting here in New Orleans, you're sitting here in Philadelphia, you're sitting here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and you're telling me that you need a weapon that can put center mass, put rounds down range from 500 yards away with iron sights, brother. You need to reassess your life choices.
They got buildings everywhere.
I mean, to be honest, like as a tactical, as like a guy who's, shot different firearms. I was in the Marine Corps. I'm kind of a nerd. I study this stuff. Brother, I don't want, if I'm defending my home in the city, I really want a shotgun or a 9mm.
That's exactly.
Yeah, I want a shotgun or a 9mm. I don't want an AR.
Sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah, I didn't know that thing becomes a liability at that range.
No, but it's not about what its actual capabilities are. It's about like, wow, check out this cool looking gun. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And like you can talk about all that BS you just mentioned to me, the iron sights and all this other crap. That's what's the point of it is, because these people are just like it's their sports car.
No, absolutely.
It's what it is. It's like it's their toy.
It's exactly what it is. It's exactly it's sad. It's sad.
It's pathetic, is what it is. I mean, like straight up, it's pathetic. Anyway. But yeah, Trump's alive. The Democrats like immediately were like, wow. I mean, like a senior Democratic official said to Axios, like, oh, we're just giving up at this point at something like that. There was a lot of rhetoric, and this is another one of those things that made me feel like I was losing my mind. Oh, by the way, you listen to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. It's Comrade, bottom of the hour. But one of the things that was making me feel like I was losing my mind was when Republicans and Fox News and all of these right-wing people who constantly talk about how we need to like how immigrants are poisoning the blood of America, about how remember the time Donald Trump says anybody that comes and causes problems at my rallies, we're gonna mess them up, and talk about how like the most you see some of these people talk about blood and soil and like the most like violent kind of language that you could possibly say. And you're saying that the Democrats created this situation where the rhetoric was so turned up that that this guy, who was already a right winger, by the way, decided to try and bust a cap in Donald Trump's head.
That's another point. This whole thing, was why I hate liberals so much, why I have so much venom for the Democratic Party.
They just put their hands up and they're like, we're so sorry. We're so sorry.
I'm already seeing it with my friend groups who are just like, they're informed and they're posting stuff like, oh, it's just the rhetoric is just too hot on both sides.
Both sides.
And I'm just like, what are you talking? I'm like, they're doing the thing that that as leftists, we always know liberals will do when fascism comes a knocking. They roll over into fascism. The Democratic Party, not just anecdotally, our friends, my friends, whatever, with the Democratic Party as a whole, we're doing genocide.
Yeah,
we're fine with that. We're doing right-wing border policies.
What about the literal like Moloch language that that Netanyahu is spitting out every single day to justify the murder of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, all the time right now?
But yeah, we're doing that. We're doing Nazis in Nashville marching up and down the street. A-okay. But things that are unacceptable in this country, a right-wing on right-wing violence when a guy gets shot in the ear. Also college kids sitting down in the lawn at their universities. You have to bring the whole force of the state against them. So all the things that we have, all the things that we have rationalized away in this country, genocide, police violence, school shootings, these same people, you already saw it happen. I'm talking to you, the listener. You saw it happen. These people will rationalize fascists. They will rationalize fascism and they'll excuse it.
There were reports actually early on, like a lot of the Joe Biden pulled all of. Actually, makes sense that he pulled all.
That makes sense because you want to check you want to check.
There was a report that came out, and I don't have the report in front of me, but there was one of a white paper that was released that essentially said that one of the ways that Democrats were going to pivot around this was to focus on again the violent rhetoric and like college protests as part of the problem. That dialed up this rhetoric, which is literally just you found a way all the way around your elbow to just make this about the campus protesters who are literally out there to say, stop killing Palestinians. Literally, that's what they say.
I cannot with these people. And again, I have so much venom because these are supposed to be the good guys.
They know better.
They've been telling me my whole life they're the adults in the room, and they let it get to this point. They let it get this bad. Well, we've constantly been telling them, I'm thinking because we have storms here in, it's flash flood today in New Orleans. And we're constantly telling them, hey, the roof is leaking. The roof is leaking. You better do something about it. And they're just like, nah, kid, you don't know what you're talking about. And then we get a good rain. And now there's a huge hole in the roof.
Yeah.
And they're like, how could this have happened? It must be your fault. We've been telling you. We've been telling you for decades this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Or in also the pumps in New Orleans as well. It's always like when there's a flood, it's like which pumps are online, which pumps are offline.
No, 100%. That's what happened. Yeah, Gerttown flooded real bad today.
Where?
It's crazy. Gerttown, which is over by like Hollygrove-ish.
Yeah, okay.
I always get it confused with Bucktown.
No, Bucktown's in Metairie.
Yeah.
Or
it crosses over.
Yeah, crosses over.
So like
right on the lake.
Oh, did you see some poor kid got like almost like eaten by an alligator out there in Bayou St. John where it meets the Pontchartrain? I guess some big gator was like hanging out in the Pontchartrain. Yeah, it was the dad had to like jump in the water and like literally beat the gator off of the kid.
That's wild. I'm
I'm sure
Brianna Snarth from Twitter would be like, "Oh, it's actually the parents' fault or whatever. I'm supposed to care." Remember that?
Yeah, should have had a gun. Yeah, absolutely.
That's about Anyway, that was like actually exactly what happened. Some kid got eaten by an alligator, and she was like, "Oh, gross. A white parent let her kid get eaten by an alligator, and I'm supposed to feel bad about that? Like
that's so stupid.
Christ, like, oh my god, like have a little bit of empathy for somebody."
I know. Was it that kid? Was it that kid that got killed at Disney?
I think so.
Out of like Buena Vista. Yeah, because that even makes more sense. Like I'm from Florida and like we are told, hey,
gators are like all over the place, man.
Yeah, we're just like as a kid, you're told like, hey, is there a standing body of water? There could be an alligator in there. But if you're not from Florida, you're on a Disney vacation. Lake Buena Vista is not even like a natural lake. Like that's a man-made lake. So why would you think there'd be gators in there? I feel nothing but terrible for that family. Actually, that's weird.
Of course. No,
I think about that a lot. Actually, I thought about that when we were on our honeymoon, and I was like, because we were by Lake Buena Vista, and I was like, ooh, no, that's bad.
Also, like in like Bucktown and like Fat City and different like parts of Metairie, gators will just come out of the sewers. They'll just come out of a manhole or something, or out of a gutter, and be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing here." Like, it's just a gator just chilling, and like people. I mean, it just happens. It's just something that happens down in the South. It's just it is what it is. You probably just need to watch out for them gators. That's it. Watch out for them gators. No, anyway. So the RNC has been happening all week. You had a take that was I thought a little bit interesting because the president of the Teamsters, Sean O'Brien, who has been sort of like doing overture. So here's part of why I have an issue with this. It's because he comes out. This guy, Sean O'Brien, is the president of the Teamsters. He gives a speech at the RNC. He like talks up JD Vance, who has a 0% voting record from the AFL-CIO, which is the big, federation of unions, talking about how he's a great pick. The Josh Hawley, like all these people do not actually genuinely support any actual formal labor issues, but you have this union leader coming up there and essentially, like, again, if the Democrats are going to say that fascism is on the rise, or like Trump is a threat to democracy or whatever, and he's going to come up and be talking to them like that. Like, I don't know, man. Like, that seems to me like you're putting a coat of worker, paint over this threat to democracy. And like, I'm not here for it,
So everything you said is correct. Mm-hmm. I totally understand it. I think it's correct, but
and I got more after this, but go ahead.
I'm looking at it, and I wish it wouldn't have happened. I wish he wouldn't have done it. But I understand it because I'm looking at it from a cynical point of view of the Democratic Party as of right now, as of January, as of July 18th, is a sinking ship. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to associate yourself with that sinking ship? You want to go where the people with the power are, who are going to be you're going to be able to get gains from. And on top of that, I understand what you're saying. On top of that, you have to show the Democratic Party that the Teamsters and the rest of the labor vote is up for grabs every 2 and 4 years. You don't want them, honestly, you don't want them treating you like the Democratic Party treats black people. which they treat labor that same way, to where like
Oh,
the other side is offering you nothing. We know you're not going to go anywhere, so we're not going to do anything for you.
But
And
what are the Democrats?
that's the calculation. That's the calculation I believe that he's making. I don't like it, but I do understand it. And the blame that I have for it, if you want to throw condemnation and blame, again, blame the Democratic Party for allowing it to get to this point.
Well, I do blame the Democrats, but I also, there is a degree of cynicism on like what O'Brien is doing here. He's definitely trying to play up for internal power, the conservative side of the Teamster membership, and he's definitely and again, like, these are people that oppose the PRO Act. These are people that vote for right to work. These are people that aren't going to give a damn thing to workers no matter what. So like what he's doing, and also he's one union leader among many, the only one that's doing this. There is, I believe, I mean, there's no way that they're going to endorse the Republicans. Like, that's ridiculous. But like, but Fain thinks he's like, I mean, not Fain. Sean Fain is good. O'Brien. Too many Seans. But O'Brien seems to think that he can be like, I'm the smart guy that can like play these two parties off of one another or whatever, and like he's literally just like cutting his own legs out from under him.
So
he's not fixing anything. He's not making anything any better. He's making it worse by like giving people like JD Vance, who is literally the enemy, like class enemies,
absolutely
cover. That's my issue.
You made my point for me though, when you said, he's playing up to his conservative base, Republican base, his Republican membership, I should say, not his base, in the Teamsters. So again, what do you want him to do? You've got one side, the Democratic Party, who gives you nothing, and they expect you every 2 and 4 years to just hand over your vote to them. And you have a large portion of conservative membership that you have to be accountable to. What do you want him to do? Where's the win for him? Tell me what the win condition is.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not speaking at the Republican. I'll tell you, it's not speaking at the Republican convention.
Well, he offered to speak at both, and I don't know. So I don't, and I know as of yesterday, I don't know if things have changed. As of yesterday, he's not on the slate to speak at the DNC. Yeah. So one side wanted to have him. The other side is still not returning his calls.
Yeah.
Again, what do you want him to do?
Well, I'm not up here to defend the Democrats. What I'm saying is, well, not that. Definitely not that. I will say it because again, he is empowering JD Vance and Donald Trump and all these people that are supposed to be a threat to democracy or whatever, and who are literally the people who own everything and ain't going to give workers a damn thing. There is no win in it, but
he's not a revolutionary to go down with the ship.
Oh no,
he's a labor guy.
Oh no! I don't expect him to be. Even though, by the way, when he came into leadership and he ousted the Hoffa regime prior, he definitely got a lot of support from like lefty types in the UAWD, and they're looking pretty silly right now. I will tell you that. So, but regardless, yeah, RNC's been going on. JD, so your Marine Corps brother, JD Vance, has now been unveiled as the
What was his MOS? Keep talking. I want to know what his MOS. What his job was. Military Occupational Specialist.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
But he's also like super famous for being. He has this image that liberals, once again, I want to make this perfectly clear. Liberals created this image for JD Vance of him being like the person who's supposed to be in touch with like, Appalachian Middle America or whatever, which is completely and utterly fake. Like he might be from some small town in Ohio for some portion of his life or whatever, but he is 100% fueled by venture capital money. He went to Yale. He is absolutely an elite. And when he did write his dog crap book, Hillbilly Elegy, it was the liberals on MSNBC that were like, this is the voice of America. This is like the actual heartland speaking, and this is what we have to listen to. Who is like literally a blood boy for Peter Thiel. he is completely like the whole reason that he was selected by Trump for the vice presidency was because he is just like completely flush with venture capital money. He's the connection between the Republican Party and with VC money. So I
Oh my
mean,
god,
like,
he was a public affairs guy.
so
He
he
was
did PR.
he was a paid propagandist. Yeah,
Mhm.
like you know, like
That makes sense.
not
He was a
AP.
politician. He was a politician.
Yeah. Ugh.
But anyway, he's the connection between Silicon Valley, venture capital money, and the Republican Party right now. Just making that link, and he's got this fake BS veneer of being like in touch with working people in the sort of like Appalachian, Ohio, Kentucky, whatever. And it's completely made up. It's like he wrote this book that is one of the most demeaning things to working people ever. And he's getting credit for being like this. And again, he wasn't ever Trump Republican, which is also very funny. And Trump is very obviously he's hilarious when he says these kinds of things. It's like, oh, he didn't like me, but then he fell in love with me, like that kind of stuff, which is awesome.
Now he has as much working class like bona fides as Kid Rock. Like it's just he's a total empty suit, a total
also zero riz, zero drip, zero swag. Like he's got no sauce. He is an absolute drip.
Well, thing about him though, I find hilarious is I haven't watched any of the RNC because I want to keep what's left of my sanity. But I have.
I'm watching. I can't wait till Hulk Hogan speaks tonight, baby. Let's go.
Nah.
What you gonna do?
What? Are you
Hulk
serious?
Hogan is speaking at the RNC tonight.
Of course he is. It's the one place he can drop the N-bomb and nobody's gonna.
He'll be praised for it.
I do like though the actual legit Nazis that it's the kind of guys who would try to take a shot at the president at Trump. Though that kind of team who are just like, oh, JD Vance is married to a brown woman. Like, what is
very
going on?
upset about that. His wife is Indian, and like immediately Nick Fuentes was like, "Are you kidding me? This guy is married to an Indian woman." So RNC final day: Hulk Hogan, Tucker Carlson, Dana White, and Kid Rock speaking before Trump.
Kid Rock speaking? He can
at
speak
the RNC.
Can you imagine having to listen to Kid Rock about it? Like that's.
Buddy, I'm not gonna have to imagine it for very much longer.
Oh, that's so awful. I'm not watching that garbage. You're gonna have to give me the rundown on it. Wow, dude, I can't take that. No way. Oh my god. Yeah, that's almost as bad when I was at the convention and like Katy Perry, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go get some
glass stealing stuff that like came in like a wrecking ball or like whatever. Awful. Oh my lord!
No, she's saying that. She's saying that I'm a survivor. What is it? This is my fight song.
Oh yeah, the fight song. Oh my god, the fight song was all over the place in 2016.
So gross, man. But no, yeah. So it's like the Nazis are super mad at him, at JD Vance, and then also like Amber Rose. Amber Rose. Almost said Rose McGowan. My brain. I got Biden brain. But Amber Rose. Because they're like, what is this prostitute with the forehead tattoo up here doing? And that's the feedback. It's so much. The leopards ate my face party is in full display.
Yeah,
so many people.
The hogs are out, and they're not happy if you're not white and you're not a dude.
Oh, they are mad. They're praying Sikh prayers up there. They big mad.
Oh well, I mean, honestly, that is what the thing is, and so like obviously the elites of the Republican Party are libs. They are absolutely
liberals.
And like Ben Shapiro, when he comes into these sorts of things, he did a 55-minute video about the Democrats escalating the political rhetoric or whatever, when he like literally says we just need to turn Gaza into a crater like all the time. But he like whined like a little FCC like literally for an hour about like, oh, the Democrats have dialed up the rhetoric and now the violence is happening because of them, like, which is the liberalist thing ever.
It's so bad. You would think too that Like these Nazis in the party could hold it together for 5 minutes and just be
No, they're
like,
too stupid.
yeah, they're just too real with it. I don't know. I don't even know if stupid's a thing I would
They can't
use.
turn it off. They can't
They
turn it
can't
off
turn
is
it
the
off.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, if you can't put your like basest urges under control and like manage that through like some channels that like everybody can get behind, you're just gonna continue to be damned to the margins. And you know what? So much the better for it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it feels like we're in one of those like kids movies or the cartoons or science fiction movies where the bad guys have won a bunch of decisive battles, but the thing is they're so like the dog that caught the car to where they're just like, well, I guess we'll fight each other now. And
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, that's been the scenes I've seen from the RNC.
it
Just
was like so
people screaming at each other.
I remember when they had a arc in Marvel Comics, like way back in the day when Norman Osborn like took over like Shield essentially. Like he was like the director of everything, and he was just terrorizing them all. He like made the Avengers outlaws and everything like that. He's like, you know what I'm gonna do now? We're gonna invade Asgard.
Yeah. Just doing stuff to do it.
Just
like
doing the craziest thing you can imagine, you know, and
right.
just getting punched in the face by literal gods.
It's, I guess, I mean, that's a good thing to where even if fascism takes over, it won't be as effective as it could be.
A suicide cult.
And all that. Yeah, they really are a suicide cult.
That fascism
I mean, but the Democrats are much better. The people that we've seen anecdotally who are just like, Joe Biden is the best, and I that's exactly. It's like y'all are in a death cult. What are y'all doing?
Yeah,
but yeah, the Trumpers have broke people's brains so much that the liberals have they're like, well, I guess I got to join my own, blue anon cult.
Yeah.
The
conspiracies after the Trump assassination attempt were out of control. Like there was essentially like, just to kind of circle back, there were so many like Democrat. I was at a bar when I saw the news come down, and like somebody was like, "You think that really happened? You think they didn't set that up? Like, what's going on here?" I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just like he's sitting here trying to order my to-go food.
That's why, man, like cyberpunk as a genre is dead because it's too hard to write
real.
Like reality. But yeah, they the stuff I've heard Democrats, boost up their God King Biden. I just would never thought I would see come out of a liberal
dear leader stuff. It's dear leader stuff.
It really is. Remember, we're old enough to remember. Remember during the Iraq War, we'd make fun of people like Baghdad Bob saying that like, oh yeah, Iraq is great. We're pushing the Americans out, or we make fun of like North Korean media. But here we are. Here we are, just stuffing stuff down the memory hole. You can't go against the party, and it's just like eternal war and conflict. I'm like, golly, man. I just didn't have on the big roulette wheel of history. I did not have my marker down on cyberpunk dystopia.
Yeah, I guess we should have. I guess we should have guessed like they would be right. The stories would be right. At least kind of right. I mean, we don't have the cool implants yet. That sucks.
Leave it to Elon. He's trying.
No, he's not doing a very good job.
Oh no, they're not good. But
it's like cyberpunk, but worse. Like worse. But dumber and like
less
lamer.
Neon. Yeah, we don't have cool neon. Yeah, you're right.
It's like everything about the mood and the themes of the world and like all of the bad stuff is here, but like none of the cool stuff.
None of the cool aesthetics. Aesthetically bankrupt. No, you're 100%.
Everything just looks like it always did, and it looks kind of stupid and actually kind of janky.
Most of the world just looks like a big BW3's like to go area. It's really boring. It's boring and deadly all at the same time. I hate it here.
Yeah. Did you also see the crazy the crazy thing that happened with Tenacious D?
I did, but I didn't care. But you care, so I care because you're my friend.
Funny. I don't like care about it because like
you got like 6 minutes left. So
yeah,
hit it.
I don't care about it because it's like important or anything like that. But it is very funny that like Tenacious D, the band, right?
I do.
They've been together for like 20 something years, And then like one of the guys, Kyle, and Jack Black, who's like obviously a famous actor or whatever, and he's like super duper lived up. Like he was just recently with like Trump and with Biden and Obama, like wearing American flag overalls, being like, "Get out there and vote, Jack." And I guess his partner from it basically said that like it was his birthday, and they like sang him his birthday, and he's like, "Make a wish," and he's like, "I wish the guy hadn't missed Trump." And Jack Black got all mad about it and like canceled their tour and like ended it.
Dude. What a loser! It's not very rock and roll.
That's extremely like obviously it's a joke, right? Like it's obviously a joke, and like they're a comedy band, so I don't know, man. Like it's another one of those things that like we talked about earlier is like the libs can never have fun.
Dude, if I'm ever that lived up, just take me out back and
I'll get and do what? Like
please don't miss. Good Lord, dude. Just like I said, we're living in the most boring hell.
Mm-hmm. Boring hell. And we're stuck here. Well, anyway, hopefully this past hour was not boring. But yeah, this has been your weekly Good Morning Comrade. Robert, what you got coming up in this week? Oh, I'm coming to town. I'm gonna be in town.
You are, so I heard a rumor.
So maybe we have a dope episode coming up next week with St. Petersburg council member Richie Floyd, who is a DSA elected. Had a good conversation with him this past week, and we're gonna interview him for next week's episode. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, man, what else we got going on?
I don't know. I'm really excited about that interview because it's my hometown.
That is your hometown.
I'm really glad that a socialist is on the city council, because we went from having, my dad's day, having the Ku Klux Klan just march around unchallenged, unchecked, to having a race riot when I was in high school. And now we got black leftist, socialist city council members. I like it.
Yeah, it's chill, and like I don't know, like we got to start pushing back and fighting against the fascism somewhere. And I don't know, man. I think that if we ended up coming to like the actual combat, the left wouldn't do so good. You know what I mean?
No. There is no left. Like it's you, me, and like 5 other people. Like,
bunch of DSA dorks. Like, anyway, but yeah, thanks so much for listening, everybody. You can listen to us every Saturday at 10 a.m. on WHIV FM 102.3 in New Orleans. Listen anywhere in the world. WHIVFM.org/listen. More information, back episodes, goodmorningcomrade.com. And I think that's it. Follow me on Twitter at Eminent Prof. And have a great day.
Yep.
What's up?
TikTok as well.
TikTok. Oh yeah, TikTok. Good Morning Comrade Radio.
Streaming on TikTok. Yeah.
What's Good Morning Comrade Radio?
Good Morning Comrade on TikTok.
Good Morning Comrade on TikTok. Check it out, because we want to make sure that we boost that up. Give it a follow. Share all of our stuff. Streaming. What are you going to be streaming later on?
I don't know. Maybe some video games. Maybe some Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know.
I've noticed that a lot of people stream like Mike Tyson's Punch Out on there. Like from
I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure that out. I don't know. I don't know why they stream retro games.
I mean, I'm cool with retro games, but yeah,
me too.
Whatever. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening. This has been Good Morning Comrade. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You are listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3.
Yeah, I've been playing.